Hi everybody, we are back. We are discussing the new supply. A situation I want to talk about that's a specific situation. I see this one with a fair amount of frequency. And this is for you ladies. If you've got a male narc and he's got this new chick that he's, quote, leaving you for, here's the thing. If he's leaving you for somebody, he'll be gone. He'd be gone. Because when you leave somebody, you do exactly that. You leave. There's the fake leaving, where they're saying, I'm leaving you, but their actions are contradicting their words. This is what makes you feel gaslit and feel like you're going crazy, because everything that they're saying and pretending to do at what they're saying isn't really lining up with the results. The results are they haven't done shit to actually leave you. They're just in this perpetual state of leaving you for somebody else. And it's an emotional roller coaster. They really yank the heartstrings back and forth during this. And most especially, one of the more dastardly, there's really not a better word for it, one of the more dastardly tactics that they use is the she's not you tactic, where once you just start to get your strength up and start feeling like you've got a path forward away from this person who's just constantly hurting you. You have your path forward, and then he comes to you and starts complaining about her and saying, but she's not you. Like, she's not sweet like you do. She doesn't rub my back like you do. She doesn't cook like you do. She doesn't do these things like you do. But I like these other things about her. Right? And so he'll sit there and say, well, she's good at this. I mean, she's good at that. She's good at this, that, and this, that, and this, that. But, she just doesn't do this, and she doesn't do that. And she doesn't do this, and she doesn't do that. And it's horrifically confusing, and it really, really does a number on you emotionally. Now, women can certainly do this to men as well, but men, for the most part, tend to be more compartmentalized mentally and emotionally than women are. Women tend to be more connected across all planes of existence, I'll just say. Men are more organized into stacks of boxes and cubby holes. We have our hobbies, we have our fishing, we have our job, we have our girl, we have our dog, we have our beer, we have all of our little different aspects of our lives. And whatever it is we're doing, nothing else in life is really connected at the current moment or affecting our present endeavor, right? For the most part. Okay, it's not a hard and fast rule, but just in general. So this tactic of saying, well, she's not you. Well, what does that even mean? Does that mean that he's regretting it? Like, it's hard for you to nail them down. And they make it even worse, because when you're like, so why are you telling me this? They say, well, because I feel like I can't talk to her about it. Who else am I going to talk to about it? And the fact that he's able to talk to you, what you're doing is you're corroborating the fact that he can still sleep with you, and he's still got you hook, line, and sinker, right? Just by talking to him, and the act of you trying to figure out what the hell's going on with him shows that he is of value to you, right? You have not found a higher value mate yet, because once you've found a higher value mate, you will not appropriate such mental energies into trying to figure out someone who's now in the past, right? Once you move on and move up, you really don't concern yourselves with such details, right? You say, well, he was crazy, and thank God I have somebody new, right? So what this does, and the reason another reason why this works so much, is when you keep a woman confused, when you give a woman mixed signals. This is part of pickup arts, it's part of seduction, and it's part of dark psychology. sending mixed signals is where this comes from. Women, depending on what book you're reading, some books say that women like to receive mixed signals because they enjoy the emotional roller coaster, and that can be true when the mixed signals are innocent and coy and playful, but they can also be highly unethical and outright abusive when you send mixed signals and somebody really doesn't know what to do with their life's direction because of it, right? It's a mixed signal, and by and large, people in general, but women especially, can be far more susceptible to mixed signals than men can, or typically are. And I say this is typical, understand, right? I'm not saying, this is not hardwired genetics, because the first thing I'm going to hear in the comments is like, well, not all men are like that, not all women are like that. Yeah, I know, not all of them. I'm just talking about in general. You've all known somebody, and we've all experienced this, man or woman, we've all experienced mixed signals, right? So, but the fact remains, this whole strategy of she's not you and still talking to you, this is what it comes down to, what this does. This is part of the techniques, and you can get on the internet, you can Google this, and you can just search how to make women obsess over you. How to get multiple women to fight over you. And you can even type in my favorite, how to have multiple women sleep with you and know about each other and be okay with it. And it's because women will compete with each other over a man before they start judging the man and blaming the man. As long as the man doesn't do anything that's particularly toxic, right? All you have to do is give the appearance of being a catch, being a good guy, a nice guy, worth your time, worth your investment. If he's a guy worth your emotional investment, and he starts seeing other women are going to want to compete to just be able to keep him in their lives, either friend zone or wherever it is that you put him, as long as he's decently acting. Or if you're addicted to a toxic emotional abuser, right? You don't like the withdrawal that comes with breaking up with a narcissist. See, emotional abuse actually creates an addictive behavior effect, similar to gambling, right? For all the reasons that gamblers go to the casinos and get constantly chewed up and spit out of the casinos, is the same reason why you constantly go back to somebody who is abusive and you get chewed up and spit out and you go right back to them. It's because the nature of the abuse hijacks the parts of your brain that trigger addiction. And so if you don't compete with this new supply, then you go through withdrawal. You don't like withdrawal, and the withdrawal is being caused by this new person. So you would have your abuser if it weren't for this other person. And so that's how all of these things you read online about how to get women to obsess over you, that's how it works. That's how it works. And like I said earlier, if you're upfront and honest with women, and if a man's upfront and honest with you, like especially like brand new in a relationship, saying, hey, we just met each other and I'm seeing other people, I'm sure you are too. I'm fully aware of the friend zone, and if you have a friend zone, that's fine. I don't care about those guys. I have a friend zone too. I've got my own game going. So if you've got another relationship you're currently exploring, I really don't feel threatened by it, and you should not feel threatened by my friend zone either, right? You can be open and honest about it in that way and set the expectations, and that's far better. I'm not saying it's perfect, and I'm not saying that that's the ideal way to go. What I'm saying is there's a better way of doing it than this triggering somebody to be addicted and emotionally abusing them and sending them mixed signals intentionally. You can have far better luck just being open and honest about what it is you're looking for, and find people who are on the same page as you, and then you don't have to have all of that drama associated with it. So there's ways of doing it that don't involve mixed signals and all the other shit, you know. They're out there. The honest ways to see other people is you just be honest and say, I'm also seeing other people, and hey, imagine that. People will either say, I am too, cool, or they'll say, well, I'm not, bye. See what I mean? So yeah, this is one part of it, and so this is I guess to wrap this up, the whole she's not you thing, the mixed signals, keeping you in limbo, where he doesn't want to be with you, but he won't let you go either, and you're trying to make sense of all of this. This is what it all comes.
Police reported ahead.
He's keeping you in his friend zone. He still wants to have access to sex. Men do this by putting you in the position where all you're doing is thinking about him and trying to make sense of it, even if it's negative emotions. That's still him dominating your mental process. And as long as you're thinking about him, you are not thinking about other men, and you are not healing, and you are not moving on. So the mixed signals and causing the mental anguish and turmoil is literally his way of keeping you on a shelf where he's not with you. He's free to sleep around with other people while you're trying to figure out whether or not you've gone insane. He's going around and playing around. And then whenever he's ready to come back to you, the pin is easily pulled out, right? You know, it's easy for him to just go right back into your bed. All he has to do is gaslight you a little bit. So there's whole tutorials, there's whole books written on this subject. And so the last thing I'll put out there for you ladies on this is the fact that you don't have to be a narcissist to do this. This is something that stems directly from seduction science. It's science. Overwhelmingly, there are lots and lots of dating books for men that teach this tactic and this approach. Why? Because men want to have sex with as many women as they care to have sex with. And frankly, if you
Hazard reported ahead.
That's going to sell in a book that works, you have to talk about the ways to do it. So, ladies, you should be aware of this. Just because he's doing this pattern, it's not necessarily indicative. It's not a diagnostic criteria for narcissism. You could just have a guy who's kind of douchey that decides that he needs multiple women to feel better about himself, and he probably learned this from a book or YouTube or a group. So that's about all I got on this one. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.